Okay, hello everyone, welcome. Today's been a little bit of a crazy day. I'm gonna be honest, I have not really felt like doing readings lately. I just have not been in the zone. So it's actually been about 2 weeks since I've done a reading. And so we're gonna see how this goes. To be honest, I just haven't been feeling it. This deck is actually two decks. They're both Rebecca Campbell decks. One is the Healing Waters deck, and then one is the Ancient Stones. Yeah, I think it's called the Ancient Stones deck, and I combined the two decks together. I just find that the energy of these two decks complements one another really nicely. You've got the flow state of water, and you've got the stability of the earth with the stone deck. So that's that, and that's where we're going to start today. So it's my prayer, I've already done my normal routine, so we're just going to dive right into this. The only bad part about this deck is it's really difficult to shuffle when there's this large. Okay. So start off with the Well Maidens: kindness, respect, reverence, compassion, good luck, auspicious wishes granted, blessings. The Eggstone: feminine power, embodiment, fertility, sanctuary, harmony, balance, joy, contentment, and lay it on the altar. Okay, I think I did a reading similar to this a really long time ago, and I'm getting this kind of same energy again here. Is reconnecting to the sacred feminine. Okay, reconnecting to the sacred feminine energy. The Eggstone in particular is really giving me this vibe. Reconnecting to the sacred feminine energetically and physically. Okay, balancing that out. Okay, I'm also getting that for some of the people in this collective, you need to focus more on nutrition to support your womb. Okay, nutrition to support your womb health. So this could be, incorporating, making sure you're getting proper nutrients, more iron, for example. This could also be things like being mindful of the energy that you're holding in your body. As women, we tend to hold energy in our heart space and our womb space. These tend to be, and sometimes our throat space. Okay, when we don't use our voice, we hold energy in our throat space as well. But we tend to hold energy within the heart space and the womb space. And the issue with this is, one, your heart space is the space that connects what I call your upper chakras. So this is your crown, third eye, and your throat chakra, with the grounding energy of your lower chakras, as I call them, which is your root, your sacral, and your solar plexus. So when the heart space is imbalanced, you're going to have an imbalance of too much energy towards the physical, too much within the scarcity mindset, anxiety around finances, anxiety around fertility, sexuality issues, confusion. Or you're going to go the other direction and you're going to be too much in the spiritual space. So you're going to have a really hard time remembering to eat. You're going to be really in woo-woo land, in the kind of this fantasy, like not grounded, not really caring about food, not really caring about your physical needs, and just in this spiritual mindset and place. And too much in either way space is dangerous. Right? If you're too much in the scarcity mindset, you're too much in this anxiety, worried about finances, worried about fertility, worried about, am I going to have kids? I don't know why, but there's a lot of this feeling of, I want to start a family, but it's not working. That's the energy I'm really feeling a lot with this collective. And so, which is probably why I keep mentioning about fertility and kids and sexuality, is because I feel a lot of that energy here. So it's really about connecting and letting go of a lot of that anxiety, just dropping it, letting it go, letting it be, and understanding to let bygones be bygones. I do want to say you have the good luck card. So if you are on a fertility journey, or you are on some sort of sexuality journey, or you're leaning towards something sexually, or you're expanding your relationship to the next level, for example, it is looking overall like it's a very good step for you. It's a very it will come. The goal that you have in that regard is going to come, right? And you also have the rainbow here. This is also, again, why I'm thinking of sexuality, is this rainbow that's kind of going between these stones. And then the woman is, of course, walking through underneath the rainbow. So some of you might identify with the LGBT community, right? Some of you might identify within that space to some extent, okay? But there's also this card here. Lay it on the altar, hand it over, soften, surrender, and forgive. What is it that you are not letting go of? What is it that you need to let go of? Okay, I'm getting for a number of you that this could potentially be in regards to something in the past. And again, especially if you are resonating with this energy of LGB or this energy of fertility issues, usually that coincides with some sort of mother wound, grandmother wound, something maternal that was unresolved that you would do well to revisit in a healthier mindset and resolve, right? And if we're talking about the LGBT community, then we're talking about, of course, making sure that this is something that is, a trauma or bullying, or again, something that is unresolved that you need to revisit and understand that you don't need. I'm really getting this feeling of you don't need that validation. The validation is within you. You don't need that external validation at all if we're in this collective. Sorry, I was told to pull one more card from this deck first before I move on. So it's definitely, this entire reading thus far is extraordinarily large feminine energy, okay? Extraordinarily large. You might resonate also with the concept of yang yin, specifically the yin, which is the feminine. So that might also be something that you resonate, or a concept you resonate within, is the yin energy, okay? Which is also often connected with a level of darkness. Okay, well, I mean, they said one, but they gave me two, so I'm gonna go with it. So cleansing and the sweet water, sensual, romance, enjoyment, fertility, and balance. What was I talking about? Okay, romance, fertility, balance, sensuality. Okay, not sexuality, sensuality, being sensual. Okay, and we also have cleansing, releasing the old, energetic tune-up, new beginnings. Yeah. Okay, this is just validation actually of what I just said about revisiting these old traumas and needing to just let it go, needing to literally leave it with God, like leave it on the altar, leave it with God, right? Just leave it there. It's not going to serve you anymore. It's not going to help you at all. So you need to let go and let God handle it. Some of you are going to also need to, especially again, this LGBT community, some of you are going to need to deal with your religious bigotry. Sorry. Yeah, that's the term they gave me. So that's what I'm going with. Your personal religious bigotry due to harm that was done to you by the religious community. Just because harm is done to you, it does not give you the right to be a bigot. It does not give you the right to be rude or mean or a bully yourself, nor does it give you a right to be judgmental of one's belief systems or belief structures. So there's a lot of needing to heal that, right? There's a lot of this wound type energy coming through that might be connected to some sort of religious structure, and needing to actually heal that, actually educate yourself, actually heal that, work through that. For those of you that message resonates with, that's not going to be a quick process. Okay, so if you're thinking, I can do that in 8 weeks, no, you're not. Okay, get off your high horse. You're not doing it in 8 weeks. You're not doing it even in 6 weeks. You're not doing it in 16 weeks. You're not even going to do it within a year. Okay, this is a long-term process of healing. Okay, but it needs to be done. And again, they're using it. I'm getting told by a spirit that they're using a specific set of terminology, which is religious bigot. That's what they keep repeating in my mind, religious bigot, because it's going to trigger those of you in this collective that this resonates with. That terminology is going to trigger you. And you're going to get immediately defensive, and you're going to immediately go, I'm not a religious bigot. Oh my gosh, how dare you associate that with me? Do you know who I grew up with? Do you know what I went through? Do you know who I was associated with? And that energy, that response energy, that impulsive, quick, that is what needs to be addressed. That is what you need to sit with and work through and learn about, properly learn about, educate yourself about, and work through that, okay? Because that's not serving you, and you're not going to further your spirituality if you hold on to that. You're not going to further your goals, your mindset. You're going to hold that trauma within your body if you don't work through it. But I'm also being told this is not like, there's a feeling of within this collective that those of you who want to do this, you're going to try to rush the process. And Spirit's telling me, don't even attempt that. You're going to do more harm than good. You're going to draw this process out longer, and you're just going to create more pain in the long run. So make sure that you are actually going and you are actually just doing the initial work. You're doing it all. And as you do that, you're going to notice that your romantic relationships, and you're going to notice one, that you're going to just become a kinder person, more open-hearted person, because as you heal these blocks, it's going to also open your heart up, right? And that's also why we've got the cleansing card coming up, because the cleansing card also is going to help to move that energy out. Once you've done processing it on the physical level, you want to do an energetic cleansing to help move that physical energy out energetically. But you're going to be doing this multiple times. Okay, I'm hearing like 3 to 5 times minimum for this collective. You're going to be like processing something physical, doing the energetic cleansing, processing something physical, doing the energetic cleansing, processing something physical, doing the energetic cleansing for this collective. Okay. Some of you might also want to, something about baptismal. I don't know if you're either going to a baptismal, you'll be invited to a baptismal, maybe some of you, or you're going to somehow restructure your perception around the concept of baptismal, and specifically water in regards to spiritual cleansing, if that makes sense. Using the element of water in terms of spiritual cleansing, using the element of water for a beneficial purpose. Some of you might have previously had this perception that that was not meant to happen, right? Some of you might also be dealing with actual trauma around water. Something with water, okay? And again, that might also have to do with the religious aspect, which is why they're showing me a baptismal. They're specifically showing me like a nature-based baptismal, like someone going down to a lake and in that like getting baptized or witnessing a baptismal type of energy. All right, we have the Explorer card coming up as well. What I really like about this card is you've got the eye up here and you've got the heart down here in the north and the south. And I really like this energy, balancing this energy out, exploring the connection between the heart, the physicality, and spirit. Okay, learning about that more, realizing the connection between those 3 areas, and expanding within that, exploring that within that. Some of you also will be drawn to doing a lot of this work in nature. Okay, going out in nature, going for long walks in nature, maybe going camping or hiking or something of that nature. Something of that sort where you're going to be outside though. Some of you are going to be really zoned in that way. And then of course we've got the creator. And again, I've been talking about religious trauma, and so this doesn't really surprise me that this card is coming up. Okay, reevaluating your belief system around the creator. I do also want to say that there's nothing that I've discussed thus far that doesn't directly connect to that sacral chakra energy and your throat chakra energy. All of this is dealing with communication, sexuality, romance, relationships, your relationship with yourself, which is something as women we tend to neglect. And so a lot of this is healing. It's about healing that relationship with oneself. I would also really encourage this collective on a physical level to do research around the physical connection between the throat space and your physical womb. There is actually a connection that doesn't get talked about in energetic spaces, and it's one of the reasons that I'm in the process of working on a revamping chakras course, is because this doesn't get discussed, especially in regards to women and women's health. But there is actually physical connection when you look at anatomically at your womb and you look anatomically at the vocal cords. There's a lot of similarity between the two, and there's actually a physical connection between if your womb is contracting, for example, when you're giving birth, and there's tension and you're holding tension within your throat, then that's going to actually create more tension directly in your womb space. And that's why when you are giving birth, a lot of midwives and doulas will tell you to vocalize. They'll tell you to like audibly sigh or to hum. And the reason that is because it stimulates, it relaxes the vocal cords, and that also relaxes physically the womb space to help naturally reduce contractions and allow the natural birthing process to be more natural and less forced. So for some of you, especially those of you that are on the fertility journey, you might want to actually look into that connection that exists and how you view that, where that sits with you, and how you think of those things and how you consider those things as well. And again, reconnecting with the creator. What is your perception of the creator? Do you believe in a creator? Why or why not? But reevaluating this after you have done the work. This reevaluation should not be happening before you do the work of religious trauma, if that is something that you feel you need to do that is resonating with you. All right. This is work, whole reconnecting to the concept of a creator is the work that you're going to want to do after that fact. Okay, because you're going to have a completely different perception of God, creator, goddess, after that. I'm just going to get some final messages for this collective. Teach. Inspire others and let nature be your greatest teacher. That's interesting. Fun. One more. Oh, no, not that one. Perfect. Adventure. Okay. Some of you are going to literally be going on an adventure. Some of you might be doing also a retreat, because we've got the adventure and we've got the explore card. So I wasn't sure if this was a physical adventure or if this was more of a spiritual adventure. And initially I interpreted this as a spiritual adventure. What I do want to say is with this card coming up, live wild and free, by the way, is what it says. I am getting the feeling that some of you might be going on some sort of retreat. Some of you might be going on a women's retreat, like a nature retreat, or even some sort of retreat where you're going to be interacting maybe with wildlife of some sort, and really connecting to that. Okay, really going through and connecting to and doing a lot of this healing during that. Especially for those of you that maybe this is like, I'm really feeling like a women's retreat or a women's spiritual retreat, or maybe like a women's yoga retreat, something of that nature. Some sort of like healing type of retreat, women's healing retreat. This is going to also be a massive step forward, right, for this collective. And then you've also got kindness. Take respite by a pond and be kind to yourself and others. Be kind to yourself and others, right? Stop being so harsh with yourself. Stop being so harsh with how you interact with others. Stop feeling like you need to hold the weight of the world on your back, because that's not your job to do. Okay? And again, a lot of this feminine womb space healing is really going to crack that open for this collective. And it's really going to open that up, and it's really going to say, okay, this is where you need to do your work, and this is when you need to do it, and this is how you need to do it, and this is why you need to do it. And again, some of you might actually be teaching others. Okay, this is going to potentially open up opportunities. I don't feel like this is for the vast majority of the collective, but I do feel like there is going to be a small portion of the collective where this is going to open up additional opportunities. This healing is going to open up additional services, for example. Interesting that's the time that I have a tickle in my throat. Okay, maybe someone doesn't want you to be opening additional services or having this type of healing or offering that you are going to be giving. So be mindful of that, right? And remember that, again, I'm being asked to repeat this, that you don't need external validation from other people. A huge part of this healing is going to be knowing that your validation comes from within you, and you don't need that external validation from others, right? So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave that there for the time being. I'm going to leave it alone. And I wish everyone the best on this healing, feminine, women's empowerment journey that this collective is on. Bye for now.